Hey everybody, this is John and welcome to the free video. And one of the big things I want to be looking at over the next several days is the big squeeze that's developing here on the daily chart of the US dollar. So one of the things with the squeeze here, you can see like right here, here's a squeeze and it's like, all right, is this, typically if the histogram's above zero, you're going to go to the upside, but it also means that there's a lot of volatility. And here you can see this time it kind of reversed, right? And let's see, same thing here. There was a squeeze, and it went down and then kind of reversed pretty hard. And so what I'm coming to the point of is that with the dollar index, when I see a squeeze, when there's a lot of indecision like this, oftentimes the best trade is a straddle. And so how can you do that? Well, you can do it a couple different ways. The easiest way probably, if you're going to do straight dollar, is just do UUP. Now UUP is kind of a quiet little ETF, but you could also do FXE, which is the euro. And basically, right now, I'm looking at the euro to continue heading lower, so I like buying puts on the euro long term. But because we can see that there's a dollar squeeze setting up, and presumably it's going to fire long, but hey, who knows, because it's been pretty volatile. You could also do a straddle on this too. So if I had to narrow this down and say, okay, what kind of strategy would I want to do here, because you can see there's a squeeze developing here too, I would buy puts on FXE, and then as kind of a hedge, I would buy a straddle on UUP, meaning I would buy calls and puts with the idea that in case it did roll over, because that would mean that the euro is going up, then I would be covered in that kind of a situation. All right. Okay, so from there, I want to take a look at healthcare. So healthcare sector here is one of the few sectors where we've had a squeeze recently fire. You can see the last time we fired here, had a really nice move. This time, it's really been a little mitigated. And what I'm looking at here is that we're seeing some of the strong sectors, and of course semis here have been pretty strong. Really just trying to find out, this is going to be an important week. Last week we had quadruple witching and things like that, but now what I'm watching for are these strong sectors, are they going to get some teeth here and keep going, or is this a part of the rolling over process? Because we're seeing big stocks like Amazon, they've been rolling over. Facebook has been under pressure. Netflix has been way under pressure, all right? And so the question is where is this money flowing to? And some of it's going into real estate, right? But some of it's just kind of coming out and going into safer havens like bonds, all right? So in this kind of a market here, keep an eye, especially on something like Netflix, which can be oftentimes a market proxy. And you can see, of course, that the squeeze here is just fired short. But a stock like Netflix, which was leading the way higher and is now kind of fallen apart, oftentimes can be a marker for the rest of the market as a whole. Okay, and then finally I wanted to look at transports here. Transports, they've been kind of trading in a big range, but ultimately here I am looking for transports to kind of work their way back down to this voodoo tree line. Okay, all right, so you might ask, if you haven't seen this before, okay, so what's a voodoo tree line? All right, so these are called voodoo lines, and if you're not familiar with them, basically this is how they work. There's two key components here. First, the red ones are the strongest ones. The second strongest ones are the green ones. Okay, so there's green and there's green. And then the third strongest ones are the white ones. All right, and then what you don't see on here, which are the fourth strongest, are the blue ones, which I'll put in a second. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing is that they never move. Okay, unlike pivots, which move every day based on the previous day's high-low close, this level has been here for 10 years. So, what you'll see is, and how they work, is that for whatever reason, you can see that the markets will come up to them and be attracted to them, and basically, they often become turning points, sometimes to the penny. So boom, boom. You can see as we came all the way down here to the fire line, we kind of pieced out, bounced from there back to the snow line, back to the fire line, almost all the way back to the snow line, fall, right to the green line, right? And again, these are here in advance. It's not like they're drawn after the fact. Now, I'll put in the blue lines here, and what I mean by putting them in is that it's just a function of how many do you want to see. So for the voodoo lines here, I can format it and say, you know what, I actually want to see more like, give me some more that I want to see, and now I've got the blue lines in, okay? And then So if I zoom in on this a little bit, you'll see that that gives me, and I say that they're the fourth strongest because they're really more kind of pausing points along the way. So, if we drill down here, and we can see that most recently we've spent a lot of time between these two key snow lines in the SPX, right? And then you can see that these pausing points here were the blue lines, which act as support and resistance. So no surprise here, guess what? We've been rallying, and we've been petering out here at this blue line. I am at this point looking for us to come all the way back down to 29.40 at the very least. Now, you might think like, well, what else does this work on? Well, let's go to a 30-minute chart here. And here, now you can see that these are kind of the fifth strongest lines. That's the last ones, these little moguls. They didn't show up on the bigger one simply because I didn't want to have them crowding the daily chart, but I'm fine on a 30-minute chart. And you can see where they just, they just pretty much stop the markets. And again, these aren't redrawn every day. They're here all the time. So if we look at, say, 30-year bonds, there's the fire line. We've been rallying, go to the fire line, we get rejected. That happens all the time. This level in bonds has been there for a decade. Let's look at Amazon here, a 30-minute chart. And you can see the structure of the markets here, right? So, a little bit of support, we bounce, walk all the way down to that tree line. And from there we bounced back up to the mogul, and now we're rolling back over to the tree line. So if we take this out again, then I would expect an easy trade there would be the short the next rally there, and even look for a move down to 17.16. All right. Stock like Tesla, you can see here we were just kind of hanging out at the fire line. We got a little 30-minute squeeze. Boom, get rejected exactly at the snow line. Trade back and forth, and that's kind of where we are now. And then at this point, I actually like this as a straddle because we're either going to there or to there in the very, very near future. Another one here is Roku, and you can see Roku here, of course, came down here and has been trading at that fire line, came down to the tree line, trade, gap down to the tree line, walk all the way to the fire line, and now we're just kind of hanging out there. I actually would like to see at this point, I'm doing a bet here that the squeeze fires long, and we get a move back to the tree line. So that's all I'm looking at here from 108.30 back to 121. Now, guess what? We could probably keep falling here, but I've seen this pattern play out before, and I'm fine buying some cheap out-of-the-money options to see if we can work our way back there. All right, so if you've never seen these before, we are doing, this is kind of a once-a-year promotion that we do on these for a discounted rate. These are a premium tool created by David Starr. So typically, if you want to get the futures, that's $9.97, Voodoo Lines on all the futures. And if you want stocks, that's also $9.97, okay, plus $97 a month. So basically, if you want all that normally, it's $19.94 plus $97 a month. This is our kind of biannual promotion / sale on these because we know that a lot of people are newer to the site, has never heard of these. Basically, what we're saying is that it's kind of like buy one get one free. So instead of paying $19.94 plus $97 a month, you actually can get futures and stocks for $9.97 plus $47 a month. So if that makes sense. So again, it's a huge deal. 50% off both the price of it and the monthly maintenance fee. And the maintenance fee is because there's new equities that are added. If a stock makes new highs, then new Voodoo Lines have to be created because it's in blue sky territory. But the main thing there is that we add stuff. It's like, hey, David, we're trading, Roku. Can you add Roku? Sure. And so get the updates there. So that's for the tools. And if you're getting this, you can still participate in the live trading. This is included with the indicator purchase. Now, tonight on Monday, we're doing a deep dive. If you're seeing this already, don't worry. You can get a recording of that. But there is going to be live trading on Tuesday, September 24th and 26th. You'll be trading with David and some of our other traders to show you exactly how to utilize these amazing levels. All right, it'll change your trading. So it's just when you know the levels in advance where it's likely a move is likely to terminate, it really kind of changes the ball game. All right, you guys have a good one, and we'll see you at the next update.